I would like to welcome Mirko on stage. I already accepted his request and you should see him online with me. Mirko Boehm. He is the co-founder of the Endocode AG and the director of open source governance and compliance. But I think this is not what we are going to talk about today, because we are going to talk about MBition and the MBition way of working. MBition is part of the Mercedes-Benz family, and I'm extremely excited because I actually don't know much about it, and I can't wait to hear more from him. And I hope you are also quite excited.
Okay, thank you very much. And hello, everybody. Sorry for the technical trouble earlier. We had a bit of a miscommunication about time. I'm Mirko Boehm. I work with MBition, and I built the open source team there. And I would like to talk about how important open source is in today's tech workplace. So, as many of you know, software products today are all hybrids. They are all combinations of proprietary and open source code. And we basically build almost nothing from scratch, right? So if you want to be a part of state-of-the-art software engineering projects, you basically need to be prepared to combine open source and proprietary code and build products based on that. That also means that only the core competencies of each business are developed in-house, and that open source projects today, they're not driven by hobbyists, they're driven by the industry primarily. We deliver software basically in ever-increasing turnaround times. It's going very fast, which means that for you, knowing how to integrate open source proprietary code is absolutely key. And kind of a complementary aspect to this is license compliance. It's the idea of making sure that when you use code, that you integrate and document it in a way that you don't violate any obligations from the licenses. And that's because it's a rare skill, and a challenge is an absolute key skill. So if you are well prepared to manage license compliance in a software business, then I think that's a pretty good start. In the industry, we have started to develop like a mantra, basically saying we either differentiate, we write code that basically makes our products unique, that customers see and decide to buy our products based on that, or we collaborate with others. We basically want to avoid developing anything in-house that exists already. And that means for you that everybody needs to be aware of two different cultures. One culture is that of competition, right? Building the best product, best design, feature, price, everything that is relevant there. And the other culture is that of collaboration, working with others, being an equal among peers, etc. And this, in turn, means that soft skills get more and more important, because especially the collaborative environment is driven by merit. We call it a meritocracy sometimes, and by consensus. So you will have very few top-down decision-making processes, many lengthy arguments, and if you can find consensus in an argument of diverse people in a large group, then that's another key skill. Another aspect that I find very intriguing today is that software engineering is becoming very interdisciplinary. It's not enough really to just know about coding. It's important, but it's only one aspect. And open source makes it even more interdisciplinary, if you will, because we're pulling in a lot of aspects from fields like business administration or legal. So, for example, questions on how to design the agreement with a supplier that works with you, or a partner that works on the same software as your company, or how you deliver software to your consumers, requires a deep understanding of how the software industry works, of how the delivery processes shape out, and of course the legal basics on how you get into an agreement. And the interesting thing here is that these are basically overlapping skills, and most people can master one or two, and you're already rare. And if you master three, then you're pretty unique. So I can only recommend to make sure that everybody hones their engineering skills if you're going to work in the tech industry. But be aware that other areas are becoming just as important. And similarly, if you, for example, come from a business administration background or from a legal background, knowing and learning a bit about engineering, kind of stepping into the other field, is equally starting to become more and more important. Yeah, so software engineering is interdisciplinary. And this was basically the idea of giving you an impression on how important open source software has become in the workplace of today's tech industry. And I'd like to give a few recommendations on what this means for you. The first one is that open source, the idea that you collaborate on platforms where others can see your code, it separates your personal reputation from that of your employer. So you should probably consider your participation there as a form of social networking. Your contributions will be visible for a long time. They will be indexed. People can search for them. And if you, for example, become a key contributor to one of the important projects, that is as important as any degree you may have, right? So, and interestingly, in recent months, we've seen a lot more remote work, and remote work even accelerates this trend even more, I think. That's because we get more and more used to working with people that are not sitting at the same desk as me. So we'll judge them based on the results that they produce. And that is very in line with the culture of open source. Show me your code, right? Show me what you have done before. And that allows you to build basically a portfolio of your personal work and share it and make it visible even to other people you may work for in the future. But the tech industry is also a complex place. It's very fast-paced. You can't spend any time doing something that you just do for the money, really. So people said, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. And I can say for me, that's true. I love what I do. I like software engineering and I like open source a lot, and I help people do that. And so my recommendation to you is to make sure that the job you apply for matches your personal interests and the development you would like to take. And if you have the feeling that you're treading water, you're basically busy staying where you are, then I think it's really time to either switch careers with where you work currently or look for something new. And keep in mind that basically it's a long career until you retire. So building up your skills is not something that ends when you graduate. So what you learn in school in today's very highly accelerated world of technology, it has a short lifetime. So you learn principles, you learn how things work, and you don't stop doing that, basically. So we have a saying for software engineers: if you don't look at code that you wrote 2 years ago and you're ashamed of yourself, then you didn't improve enough. So make sure that every code that you write a year from now looks a lot better than the stuff that you do today. And that leads to kind of one of my key messages, and that is the 10,000 hours rule. They say that to master a field, you need to spend 10,000 hours, right? So you practice and you improve, and that's a long time. And we sometimes speak of software craftsmanship in the sense that people over time become very good at what they do, in that you can absolutely rely on the quality of basically every line of code they write, and then having things integrate, they don't fall apart, and they're also easy to maintain. And that's a rare skill. So, and it goes hand in hand with the don't stop learning when you graduate recommendation. So be prepared for basically continuous learning, always improve, and remember that a job title that says senior something means you're old. And I'm saying all of that against the background of MBition. MBition is a Daimler company. We developed the software for Mercedes-Benz cars, and we're located in Berlin. We have a very open culture and an excellent team. And I'd like to mention, yes, we have all the benefits, but I'd like you to have a look. This is what you work on if you work with us. So think about it. Thank you.